Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Oh, Susan, we have a big holiday coming up.
This is one of my favorites. This meal, oh my goodness, I dream of it all year long.
It's so much work though, right?
It's a ton of work, but it's so worth it. And then the meal is amazing, and then the leftovers are even better.
It always tastes better after it sits. It's kind of like, I always love lasagna because after you let it sit, it's better than it was.
All those flavors mixed together so well.
It comes out perfect.
Now, do you do the turkey for your family?
Absolutely not. No, I would do Kentucky Fried Chicken if I was responsible for the cooking.
I thought you might have some kind of, you like smoking meat, I thought you might have some sort of special recipe.
I love grilling and I love smoking, but yeah, I leave the turkey to my wife, and she does a fantastic job. So
shout out
to her. So listen, there's some do's and don'ts when it comes to making Thanksgiving dinner. You don't want your family and friends to become sick.
Oh gosh, that would be the worst.
that would be horrible.
It would be like the family story for years to come.
Oh my God.
Remember that time?
Yeah, Susan's house. Yes, we all got sick.
Oh, that would be the worst. Yeah, we're going to protect everybody from that.
Well, we hope we are, right? So we're talking to the expert in this field, Kenneth King. He's from the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service. How you doing today, Kenneth?
I'm fine. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Listen, who's cooking the turkey in your house?
So definitely not me. I will be there to make sure food safety is being applied, but I'm going to be with my family and the aunts and the uncle. They're doing all that.
You know, you probably make them nervous when you're around because they're afraid they're going to do something they're not supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. They always ask me, am I doing this correctly? And I'm like, yeah, you're fine. You know, you got your food thermometer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had to like correct mom or an aunt and they're like, whoa, come on?
No matter what I say, I don't think they'd even allow me to.
He knows his place.
Well, you can give all of us some good advice. We'll take it.
Let's start with thawing, okay? So I know there's a formula with thawing a turkey. So let's just say you have a big bird. It's frozen. I mean, you've got it. This is a very important process. So tell us, Kenneth, a little bit the do's and don'ts about thawing a turkey properly.
Right. So thawing is very important, of course. And when it comes to thawing, we always recommend against thawing your turkey on a counter, a table, because as it melts, the juices spread through your kitchen and this brings bacteria and it can get you sick. So we have two methods. One is the refrigerator method, very common. And this is simply, say you have a 4 to 5 pound turkey. It will be safe to thaw in your refrigerator for up to 24 hours. So in this case, you could thaw that turkey the day before Thanksgiving, and it'll be safe to eat. Now, the other method is the cold water method, and this is simply submerging the turkey underneath cold water, perhaps in your sink, and you just want to be sure to change the water every 30 minutes because the water does need to be kind of cold to keep it at a safe temperature as it thaws. And with this method, it does need to be cooked immediately after thawing.
I'm going to ask all the questions that our listeners are going to be asking. When you're doing it under the cold water or in the refrigerator, you want to keep the packaging on it, right?
Yes. And that's a great point. Yes. You want to make sure it is wrapped up in its package, whether under the water or if it's in your refrigerator. Yes.
How about once we are popping the turkey in the oven, what are the best ways to make sure we're getting a really delicious turkey, but also making sure we're cooking it the whole way through?
Right. So because the turkey is such a large bird, it's super important to make sure it's fully cooked. Sometimes people rely on the smell. It smells good. We're hungry. The skin is browning. Okay, I think it's ready. But actually, it could be quite raw still in the center. So to measure the internal temperature, we always recommend using a food thermometer and placing it into 3 locations: the innermost part of the breast, innermost part of the wing, and innermost part of the thigh. These locations must reach a safe temperature of 165 degrees, and then your turkey will be safe to eat.
We're going to say that number again. 165 degrees, everybody. That's what you need.
Do you need 3 thermometers, or do you just kind of pluck it out and just put it in those different places?
You just one thermometer is fine. Just, put it into one spot, 165, good. The next spot, and then the next spot. Mm-hmm.
Hey, can we go back to the thawing real quick? Because I had a question. Yeah. I was reading, it takes anywhere between 4, what was the formula I told you before? It was like 4 pounds for every 24 hours. That sounds like a lot. I mean, if you have a 15-pound bird, that's like 3 days of thawing in the refrigerator. Is that correct?
We do have these numbers on our website, foodsafety.gov, but that does sound, I believe that is correct. If it's a large bird like that, like 15 pounds, it's going to take a few days.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if that thing's going to thaw under the water, properly.
Lots of prep. Can we talk about, this is going to be controversial for some families. Some families are absolutely dead set on putting stuffing and other things into the bird to cook. And other families are very against it. I know how I feel, and I know how my in-laws feel, and we are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Really?
We are. They are very kind to me, though, and they have made me separate stuffing that is cooked outside of the bird because they know that I just can't do the...
They like to cook it inside.
Yeah, they do.
You know what? That's really old school because I think my mom used to do it that way as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's really old school. I mean, I think they have a family recipe for this stuffing that goes back, to the 1600s.
Right.
Like, this has been in the family forever. They're all very proud of it. It's delicious. And I can't do it in the bird. I know that that's one of the things that you might have some insight into.
Yes. So, I do know there are some hot topics when it comes to food prep during Thanksgiving, and this is one of them. So when it comes to stuffing, USDA recommends against cooking just the raw turkey with the stuffing together. We always recommend cooking them separately because this is a safer way to do it, and it decreases the chances of cross-contamination. There's a lot of room for mistakes when it comes to cooking them both together. Now, the stuffing does need to be cooked to 165 degrees, just like the turkey. But the safest way to do it is to cook them separately. This is how USDA recommends.
I need a little more reinforcement for my in-laws. Give me the specifics. What can happen if we are cooking the stuffing or fruits or veggies inside the bird?
Right. So the biggest thing is cross-contamination because that raw turkey is going to have all kinds of bacteria on it. And then if you're having fruits and vegetables, well, when it comes to that too, we always recommend keeping your fruits and veggies away from your raw meat because this can lead to bacteria growth and cross-contamination and get us sick. So that is really the biggest thing to worry about when it comes to adding these other foods inside of your turkey. The safest way is to keep them separate, especially if you have what we have high-risk individuals that are at risk of contracting higher, more severe symptoms of foodborne illness. These are toddlers, people with compromised immune system, pregnant mothers. They need to, for them especially, it's important that we're staying food safe. And the safest way is to keep your raw meat and poultry separate from your fruits and vegetables and other ready-to-eat foods, and to cook your stuffing separately than your turkey.
I'm kind of a clean as you go guy. So when I'm in the kitchen, I like to, clean as I go because I don't like a big mess at the end. Can that be a problem with, say, a wash rag? If you're wiping the counter, you came across some turkey juice. I mean, what do you do? Do I use paper towels, or is there a method that people should use to keep from becoming sick?
That's a great question. When it comes to sanitation, well, the first rule is, of course, always washing your hands before, during, and after meal preparation. Now, when you're cleaning up your cooking area, yes, you can use a sanitizer and paper towels to clean everything up. You can use a rag. Now, if that dish rag had contact with raw juices and you just leave it somewhere and then you grab it again and you wipe it around, you can still spread bacteria from that raw juice throughout your kitchen. So for the safest way is to have a one-time use for that rag, and then, of course, put it with your dirty clothes and wash it. Mm-hmm. And paper towels, of course, you use one and then just use another one to make sure everything is clean.
So we have the turkey. Let's just say I'm a lunchtime guy. What time do you guys have the Thanksgiving?
Well, that depends. So my family, we are more like the 2 p.m. kind of Thanksgiving family. My husband's family, they're the dinner time, like 7 p.m. Thanksgiving dinner kind of family.
I'm in bed by that time.
It's totally different. Every year we go back and forth.
Right.
Sometimes we're with his family, sometimes we're with my family.
You have to wait all day to have Thanksgiving.
I know. And then you get the leftovers at like midnight.
Oh my gosh.
For a person who works on the morning shift, that's a long day.
That is a long day. So we have our turkey. We're going to go with my route, okay? Well, we can go your route as well.
Lunchtime turkey.
We all loved having leftovers.
So
can you leave the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the beans? I'm getting hungry.
No.
But can you leave all that out on the counter and then just kind of go, as my wife says, graze?
Graze. I love a good grazing day.
How long can you leave the food out to graze without becoming a problem?
Right, that's a great question, and this is super important for Thanksgiving and Super Bowl, which is coming up next, and any other get-togethers. So your food sitting out at temperatures of 40 to 140 degrees will be safe for up to 2 hours. So if that food's sitting out at room temperatures for 2 hours, it'll be safe. But after that 2-hour mark, that's when bacteria start to grow in the food. So after 2 hours, we recommend refrigerating that food. However, if you're serving it for a prolonged amount of time, the general rule is to keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. So if you're serving, let's say, the turkey or macaroni and cheese or maybe some hot kind of soup, you want to use something to keep it warm. So chafing dishes, warming trays, have it in a preheated oven, slow cooker, anything that's going to keep the hot foods hot. And it's the opposite for cold foods. So if you have, let's say, potato salad or something else that's supposed to be eaten cold, you can have it on a tray nestled on top of some ice. This will keep it cold. Of course, you can just leave it in the refrigerator. The general rule is if you are going to be grazing, like I know I will be for my Thanksgiving, and most people do, you want to just make sure the food is kept hot if it's hot or cold if it's cold.
And if we kind of surpass that 2-hour mark and we haven't done what we needed to do we just have to toss it?
No, do not toss food.
I don't know. We're asking the expert.
Okay.
So the general rule to be safe is when in doubt, throw it out. If you're unsure if that food is safe, it's better to toss it than to take the chance of getting sick.
How about the leftovers beyond the holiday? How long can we store those in the fridge and keep going back for more and more and more of my very favorite meal of the year?
Right. So your Thanksgiving leftovers will be safe for up to 4 hours. 4 days. 4 days in the refrigerator. Now, to store them properly, if you have turkey, for example, the turkey needs to be carved up and put into small, shallow containers. This allows for even cooling. And the same for all your other leftovers. And by that 4th day, you're probably going to be tired of eating turkey anyway. So 4 days is the rule.
Who gets tired of turkey?
Well, you could freeze. You could freeze the turkey too, right? And then make turkey enchiladas or whatever you want down the road. So
good.
All right, listen, I've learned a lot, and the key number to remember: 165 degrees. It's got to go into 3 different areas, and it all has to be 165 degrees. Keep the warm, keep the cold. And let's see, how many hours to leave it out to graze? 2 hours?
No more than 2 hours, yes.
Not more than 2 hours.
Do you have a favorite food on Thanksgiving?
It's got to be the stuffing, because I only have it, once a year, basically. Yeah, that day. Well, Christmas as well. So that's got to be it. Yeah, that's got to be it. All right, hey, listen, Kenneth, thank you so much for being with us on the On Your Side podcast. What's the website if people want to find out more about safe turkey cooking?
Right. So our website, foodsafety.gov, we have everything food safety related: Thanksgiving food safety, camping, hiking, grilling, recall information on foodsafety.gov.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we appreciate all your tips. Okay, Kenneth?
Thank you for having me.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton, and I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock. And every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.